today I have one of my favorite athletes, um, Kerry. It's so nice to see you again.
So great to see you. It's wonderful just
Kerry,
to see your face again. I love it. It's been too
Kerry and
long.
I met
Yeah.
multiple time on the course,
At Maryland.
and when I dressed up quickly after my run today and reached out to the closet, it was one of the regular T-shirt, Ironman, do hard things, or maybe
Yep.
plain. But there was one T-shirt that I really like, and I want to show you, and I wore it because of Kerry,
I love
and it
it.
says being kind is classy, and I think it
I love that.
summarizes
I love
Carrie.
it.
And in the hour that is coming, you probably will come to agree with me. She's probably one of the kindest athletes I met.
Ah,
On a personal note, I can say when I did I remember specifically two races, but the most recent one that I remember was Ironman Lake Placid. I wasn't
yeah.
feeling well, and I stepped
Yeah.
on the bike just before the Three Bears. And most of
Oh,
the athletes are asking you, "Are you okay?" and will
yeah.
continue, right? Or maybe don't even ask anything. But Carrie stopped. And she said, "Are you okay?" And she kept patting my back and, cheering me. I wasn't okay at the end, but, just
No.
her stopping. I think we met again at the run on Eagleman last year.
Yeah. 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 2 years ago. It was a couple years ago. Yeah. Yeah. As
And Carrie passed me on the run, and again, so kind and cheering me, and just the nicest person. And you learn more about Carrie as an athlete, as also athlete that supports other athletes. And then tell us about the organization today.
yeah.
So this is my introduction, and now it's
It was a very,
it's your
very nice
time to
introduction.
it's your
Very,
time to shine. And so
very
I wanted to
flattering.
start with take me back to the beginning. How did you become someone who does Ironmans?
I think it's just you become friends with the wrong or the right people. I'm not sure. And it just becomes, hey, if I do this, will you do this? And then, you start with a marathon and then a half Ironman. And next thing you know, we're all signing up for an Ironman together. And it's contagious, really. And when you have friends that believe in you, you know, you you feel like you can do it. So you go for it.
Yes,
So
I've said it in previous interviews, and I will keep, I guess, saying this because I saw it in my study. It's almost always about a community,
yeah.
either a partner or someone that you train with at the gym or
Yep.
someone you work with, right? Or a spouse of one of your friends
Yeah.
that is doing it already. And you're like, they tell you, yeah, you can
Yeah.
totally do it.
You can
So
do it. Yeah.
the power of, and one of my missions in this podcast is to encourage more athletes, potentially mother athletes,
Yeah.
but any athletes, if they want to take the leap and get into
Yeah.
endurance sports, because
Yeah.
honestly, anyone can do it, right?
Anyone can do it. I am not a natural athlete. I'm not a great swimmer. I'm not a super fast runner or cyclist. But, if you can commit to the training, you can do it and you'll surprise yourself. So really,
You
truly,
are
anybody
definitely
can do it.
a persistent one. So, were you asked?
Not at all. Not at all. I grew up riding horses. I actually rode professionally through college and most of my adult life. I don't teach and train as much as I used to. But yeah, I was a competitive equestrian for most of my life. So when I
So an
retired from
athlete,
that,
just not endurance.
sorry.
So an athlete, but just not in endurance.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yes, I shouldn't say that equestrians are not athletes because we are. We are very much trained where it is hard on the body. But a little, it's different, right? You're not judged on your speed and those kinds of things. So it's a little bit different. But yeah, it's when I retired competing horses professionally, I kind of got a little more into triathlon. And it's funny because the sport I did in equestrian, 3-day eventing, they always considered the triathlon of horse sports because it was a three phase sport. So I think I kind of naturally took to triathlon. So,
And so you mentioned someone, friends, got you into
but
triathlon. But take us back
yeah.
to who exactly? Who do you give the credit
you
to?
know,
How did
um,
it came into your life?
I think it's gotta be my buddy Chuck, like my friend Chuck. We ran together, and he had previously done a few half Ironmans, and he's a good swimmer, and he we kind of got this notion that we were going to sign up for Ironman Maryland together. And we pretty much trained for the whole thing together. And it was just, he was a great, really great training partner. Cause when I first started training, I had like no experience on the bike. Like I went for my first half Ironman. I didn't even drink water on the bike because I was too nervous to, get the water bottle out of the bottle cage, so I
Yeah.
was very new to it. But yeah, he was really awesome and taught me a lot. So yeah, I gotta shout out my buddy Chuck. He's probably the reason I s- believed in myself, which was key in finishing. So
So I know not every year you've been doing Ironman, but you have
yeah.
been one of those consistently coming
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
Every time I see you
Yeah.
after we finish the race,
I
already
know.
signed up for the next race.
Yeah.
Um, and so overall, how many years you are in endurance sport?
Well, I ran my first marathon when I was 22 or 23. I'm 50 now. But I was a runner for a long time. But I did my first marathon shortly after college because I mentioned to somebody that I wanted to do one day, and they flat out told me I couldn't do it. And that was all it took. Like, okay, you tell me I can't do it. We're doing it. So I ran for years and years. And then I got into triathlon. I think I did my first Eagle Man in 2019. So that was my first long course. And so that was not that long. It's only been like, 6, 7 years. I basically had to take last year off because of an injury. So this year we're coming back. We're coming back into it.
Exactly. We're gonna get into that into the injury and what may be changed or what not. Um, so I know this about you, but the listeners probably not. You have a daughter.
I do. Yeah.
How old?
Yep.
How old is she?
She's 9. She's gonna be 10 next month, double digits. Yeah, so a 9-year old.
I can't believe it. I'm following
I'm
her through the years, and from a tiny baby, she's almost
yeah,
10.
it's
That's amazing.
crazy.
And so, if I'm doing the math correctly, you are an athlete, or at least endurance
Yes.
athlete, running marathons, maybe not
Yes. Yeah.
Ironmans, before she was
Yep.
born.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, Once you became a mom, has
Yeah.
anything changed in you in terms of athleticism, taking time
Um,
to train, or were you able immediately to adjust?
I mean, it was hard. I mean, and anybody tells you it's not hard, I don't know how they do it. I mean, it was hard. It becomes a lot of having to let go of the guilt, the mom guilt. You have to let it go a little bit and not feel selfish for taking some time for yourself. But it's really a lot of just juggling, right? Like it's early mornings. It's fitting it in when you can, like when she's in her dance class, you go for a run or things like that. But yeah, it was hard to get back into it. I mean, I ran pretty consistently when I was pregnant. I mean, when I was pregnant, I ran a couple marathons, did a sprint try pregnant, like 8 months pregnant. That was kind of funny. Um, but yeah, and as she gets older, some challenges have certainly gotten easier. I'm not up in the middle of the night changing diapers and feeding, obviously, but now she's into all these activities. She's into dance and cheerleading and all these wonderful things. And for one, you're their ride, right? So you have to get them to these activities. And two, you want to be there. You want to be there for the dance recitals and the swim meets. You don't want to miss any of that. So it's a lot of um, juggling. I think somebody
Yeah.
once called them mom pockets, and that kind of stuck with me. You find these little pockets of time to train, and it's not necessarily ideal. It would mean getting on the bike for a couple hours in the morning and then getting her off to school and then getting on the bike again in the evening after work. And was it
Right.
ideal? No, no, of course not. Um, but was it the reality of having kids, job, family that you're trying to balance? For me, it was, and it wasn't you know, the goal, we've talked about this, wasn't to get to Kona, right? The goal for me is to compete and have fun and finish strong. So for me, it worked.
You said a couple of things that piqued my interest, and I don't want to go get pulled into too many directions. But so I'm going to start with this. Many of the moms that I interview, I can also talk about my own experience. Somehow, when children enter the picture, and it doesn't necessarily have to be because of guilt. It could be because they're just pulled into many directions with
Yes.
different goals that they have. Sport is becoming something they don't do anymore,
Yeah.
and I'm curious to know. I do hear a lot of moms saying there was like this. vacuum of like 10 years. For me, it was
Yeah.
20. We didn't train. We were trying to develop career, or we had more kids, or
Yeah.
everyone in their own circumstances. There's no a way to compare here. But many women stop and then they
Yeah.
find themselves back.
Yeah.
You have a little bit of a different story.
Yeah.
You never stopped. So what
Yeah. I didn't
worked?
stop.
What was your
So, um, just for me, it's just that was I need that time for myself, in order to be a good mom, a good wife, in order to show up for my family. I knew that I had to have something that was for me. And I didn't think that was selfish of me to have something that was mine. And, like my husband has something that's his, and I support that. And I have endurance sports, and that's mine. And I needed that. And I'm okay with that. And, some moms can't find that balance, and that's okay too. Like, that's okay. But for me, it my mental health depends on being able to have those little pockets of time for myself and for my training and doing something that makes me feel good about myself.
running and you have to go out? What does it mean it's for your mental health? What do you feel when you don't train?
When I don't train, I feel like when I'm not training or working towards something, I feel like I always have to be working towards something. There has to be a goal. Like I loved having a goal, no matter what it was. Um, when I have a goal and a plan, I just I'm more at ease. I'm happier, right? I just makes me feel better about myself having that goal. So,
And that could bring us into the injury. Tell us what happened last year.
well, you see, um, I was at my daughter's elementary school for the end of the school year party, and I decided to try to outsprint a group of elementary school children. I like channeled my inner Usain Bolt, and I am not a sprinter. And my hamstring just snapped off the bone. So I had a complete hamstring rupture in June. So, and then 9 days later, I was in surgery, and I pretty much spent the whole summer and fall rehabbing. So now we're finally back to running. I just got back in the pool today, so that was great. But yeah, it was an interesting summer.
I'm going to put in the show notes your Instagram handler, and if you're interested, you can go back and find that photo where her entire hamstring is
Black.
like
Whole leg
black,
is black.
black. I remember
Yeah.
when you posted it, I was like, "What
You're
happened?"
like, what up? It
"Oh,
was,
nothing. I was
yeah.
just sprinting."
Yeah.
And so I'm
Yeah.
asking about this injury because I'm connecting it to what you said before. I always have to have a goal, and
Yes.
all of a sudden, your goals have shifted for
Yes.
recovery.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened to your athlete identity? All of a sudden,
It,
I
you
know
know
you
what?
trained. So tell us what you did.
It I was fine. Like, I was totally fine, and it was so sweet. I had some friends check in on me, make sure my mental health was okay because they know how important racing and training is, to me, and all of a sudden that was gone, but the goal just changed, right? Like, as an endurance athlete, we are built for the long haul, right? We know how to play the long game. We know how to sit with discomfort. And I think those
Yes.
are skills that endurance training teaches you, right? You can look at the long picture, right? So my goal was rehab. Like
Yeah.
that was the training. The training became getting better, getting back to a point where I felt strong again. And so I was okay. Like it was okay to take a step back from swim, bike, running all the time. It was okay. I got it. I was so lucky. Um, to have a surgery that gets you back to sport, that's a privilege. That is an absolute privilege. And it was not one that I took for granted. I was so lucky to have great doctors, great family, great trainers, great PTs, all helping me get back to where I wanted to be. So, some people spend their whole lives in bodies that do not work. What's a
Yeah.
few months, even a year for that matter, if I had to take off? So, movement, it's a gift. Like, movement is a gift. So, I don't take that for granted. So, mentally, I'm fine with it. I was okay. Like, and honestly, like some mornings it was nice. Like meant slower mornings with my husband, coffee in bed, not rushing out the door at 4 in the morning. It was an okay break for me, for my body and my mind. And I was okay with it. So
And I'm hearing this, so I'm not trying to poke to find something that was not okay, but what did you learn about yourself? Because before you said, I need that goal, I need to be
Yeah.
athlete, I need it for my mental
Yeah.
health. What did you learn about yourself now that this was on hold for a few months?
You know, I think we tie so much of our identity to racing sometimes that we forget that there's a whole other person that's okay. Like I'm okay when I'm not racing. I'm still me. It's okay. The goal may
Yeah,
have changed, but it was fine. It was I had time for some other hobbies, so that was good too. But yeah, I was baking, feeding my
like
birds, like
pull-ups. I saw you
right,
doing like
yeah, working
10,
on,
no problem.
I got really, really strong and working to get really strong in the gym. Like my upper body got really ripped, even though my legs kind of shriveled away to nothing. So, but yeah, no, it was fine. It was
That's
good.
good. That's
Yeah.
great.
I had
And
nothing but gratitude through the whole process, honestly. Some days, yeah, of course, some days sucked, not being able to like tie my own shoe or even I couldn't even really sit down for a few months. But nothing but gratitude for it. So,
and what are the goals for the coming season or the coming year in terms of racing?
Um, so I'm trying to be gentle with myself and I haven't set any big goals for the spring. I just started running again in November. My biggest goal for this year is don't get hurt. Like just don't get hurt again, Terry. Like that's my biggest goal. So I haven't set anything really big just yet.
Good.
Because I wanted to just really ease back into training without the pressure right now because I know me. Um, I can go a little too hard, a little too fast. So I wanted to take some of that pressure off. So I have some like local races, some half marathons coming up, that type of thing. But I think 2027 I will do another full Ironman. So right
Which
now
one do
that's
you have your
uh,
eyes on?
I think Jacksonville, in Florida, because I'm told it's a fast swim. That's why. Yes. I'm
And
not
that's
gonna
scary
lie.
for you guys, in a nutshell. But another part we didn't discuss and that always impressed me is your kindness towards. You said to me in one of our conversations, everyone should experience crossing the
Oh,
finish line.
absolutely.
So tell us a little
Absolutely.
bit about your commitment and your passion to help. I want to make sure I'm using the right term. Is it disabled athletes or abled athletes?
Just you could disabled at we call adaptive athletes. I do a lot of work with adaptive athletes. And actually, like, I really credit the organization I run with for motivating me and keeping me in the game this long. So I run with an organization here in Maryland called Athletes Serving Athletes. I actually run our local chapter. If you're familiar with like Team Hoyt, the KP Foundation, Ainsley Angels, it's one of those types of foundations where we help people who are disabled, who have limited to no mobility, compete in mainstream running events. And so I've just been so lucky to cross so many finish lines with people who may not have had a chance to do that. And if you go to any race, you know what it feels like to cross the finish line. It is such a good feeling. It is a great feeling. The running community, the triathlon community are amazing. Like, why shouldn't everybody experience that? It's such a great feeling. So we push people in adaptive joggers and we help them race. And I'll tell you what, you want to talk about resilience, kindness, motivation. Those are the people you should be chatting with because I draw so much of my strength from the athletes that I've had the honor to work with. So it's really been life changing. And I really encourage anybody, if you're maybe looking to give back to the sport or even just lacking a little motivation, find an organization similar to what we do. And they're all over the country. Um, and I can always, somebody was looking for something, I could always point them in the right direction.
I'm going to put it in the show notes. And so for people who are interested, they can either reach out and send you a message through
Yeah.
the Instagram handler, but I'm also going to put the link to the organization so they can see if
Yeah.
there's a local chapter. What is one story of an athlete that you helped um, supporting that stayed with you?
Oh, gosh, there's been so many over the years. Um, but I've had some athletes, we get them to the finish line and we get them up out of the chair and they walk across on their own 2 feet. It's amazing. Like it is amazing. And we'll be pushing an athlete through a race. And, one young lady, oh, I have to, Fu. Her name is Fu. Um, and we did a sprint triathlon with her several years ago. And when we were training, our bike went down. The bike tipped over when she was in the chair. Um, and she got injured. She was scraped up. Fortunately, nothing serious, but she looked a little beat up, and the whole time she was like, "Are you guys okay? Are you guys okay?" And this happened in training, and I wasn't sure if she would want to do the race after that. And she did. Like, she wanted to do it. She wanted to get back in the chair. She wanted to race. She's like, "I am an athlete. This happens. I want to do this." And she did. But the entire time she kept checking on us, like making sure we
Yeah,
were okay. And I'm
yeah.
like, "David, honey, we're fine. We're worried about you." She's like, "I'm okay." So just that type of
I don't know.
resilience.
Yeah, and I don't know about others that are watching you or knowing you, but I'm at all every Saturday, pretty much,
Yeah.
at like no, I wake up at 7 and drink my coffee. Carrie is
Yes.
already posting photos of a run that she did with some athletes that they were
Yeah.
pushing every
Every
single
weekend.
weekend.
Yeah.
And I admire your
Yeah.
dedication and commitment and I call it, in this kind of research that I'm doing about identity integration. I think I see it as part of your identity to give back to
Oh,
other
yeah.
athletes.
Yeah. That's it's my favorite way to race, honestly. I done 5 full Ironmans. And I would give every one of them up if to cross the finish line with one of my adaptive athletes. Like, those finish lines for me are more meaningful at my local sprint try, have been more meaningful for me than some of the Ironman finishes. They really are. And if I had to choose a way to race, like, I would hands down race with an adaptive athlete, any
Yeah.
day of the week. Mhm.
And consistently, what I know research is saying about giving back is that that's the first best thing you can do
Yep.
to take care of yourself
Yeah.
mentally is to give to others. Like you're getting outside of yourself by
Yeah.
helping others.
Yeah.
And by that, finding happiness,
Yes.
meaning in life. Um, it's okay not to go there if you don't want, but,
Yeah. Yeah. Of
you
course.
and I talked a while back about, a specific athlete that you actually trained for a
Mhm.
full Ironman
Yes,
to
Matthew.
support them. In the end, it didn't happen, and it's a
It
little bit
didn't.
heartbreaking, but, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the journey of
Um,
helping this gentleman training and what
Matthew,
happened.
gosh, Matthew is amazing, and his mother, absolutely amazing people. So fortunate to call them friends. Um, you know, our adaptive athletes, some people are like, "Oh, they're just sitting." They're not. Like, if you're the road, it's hot. The road is bumpy. They can't always express to us exactly if they're hungry or thirsty or have to use the bathroom. It is hard. Like, that bike kicks up dust and dirt in their face. It's
Yeah,
hard. It is extremely
yeah,
hard for them to sit there that long. And we set out with a goal to do Michigan Titanium, Mai Tai, the full. That was the goal, and we had a great team. We trained very hard. It just wasn't in the cards for us. We didn't think we were going to finish safely, um, with Matthew in the chair. We felt like his day needed to be a little shorter. Our day needed to be a little shorter. It was very, very hilly. If anybody's done that race, they know how hilly that is. So that it's a bit of a beast pulling that bike up those hills. And it just wasn't in the cards for us. But, the race organizers there are just so wonderful. We kind of switched to the half, and Matthew was able to cross the finish line on his own 2 feet. And it just was
oh,
just amazing, amazing. Was so happy for him. And his mom, Janice, she's amazing too. She's such a rock star. You know, some of the families that we work with, they have challenges in their lives that I will never experience. And they do it with grace and humility, and they don't complain. And it's just, they're, they're so inspiring. just,
it is, and I love this ending. I don't know if I was in the midst of all of this unraveling, and I don't think I remember or knew that actually turned into a half, and
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
finished. So I love
Yeah,
hearing this.
and so, at the end of the day, it was technically a DNF, right? But, like, we didn't care. Like,
No,
none
we
of
don't
us
care.
cared.
Yeah,
Yeah, none
yeah.
of us cared. We were there for the experience, and all the other athletes there were just amazing and cheering him on, and we love that. We love when our athlete gets to be part of this community. So if you are ever out there on a race course and you see an adaptive team, they love the cheers, the high fives, calling out their name. Like just it's wonderful. So
I love it. And I think everyone who listens to the interview can pick up on the mental mindset, I should say, that you're having. It's the gratitude, the happiness,
yeah.
the giving back, um, the resilience. I want to shift a little bit into the how, the everyday, which I'm not usually focused on. So as a busy woman who also splits herself to give to others, and you're training for yourself,
Yeah.
how do you do it all? Tell us a little bit about the kind of your schedule
Um,
to train. Do
well,
you train by yourself? Do you train with others?
I'm an obnoxiously early riser. Like I get up very early in the morning, like
Can I
sometimes as
interrupt? Can
early.
I interrupt and say something you said to me? I always remember it. I am usually the person who is going to try and do one more thing before
Yeah.
they leave because they have 5 minutes left. So why not do
Yes.
one more
Yes.
thing?
Yeah.
Carrie told me something that stays with me. It's actually my recipe for the same thing. If I'm on time, I'm late.
Yeah, yeah, if you're on time, you're late.
Like,
That
oh,
is that
ironic.
is that is my motto in life. If you are
For
on
me, if
time, you
I'm
are
on
late.
time, it's a
Like,
winning. And you say to me, I always think of you when I get
yeah.
on time.
I know my poor students when I would teach a lot, I was like, if you're on time, you're late. So if you're early, you're on time. So no, I have become an obnoxiously early riser over the years, and it wasn't easy. It didn't start out that way. Definitely after having my daughter and time management to fit it all in, like you start getting up early. I mean, I'm asleep by 9 p.m. So, but I get up very early. And I'm very fortunate now that I do work part time, right? Like I would not ever expect the mom who is raising her children and also working a 9 to 5 to compare her schedule to mine. I work part time now. I'm very lucky that I was able to switch to part time a few years ago,
Do you want to hear
and I.
something surprising?
Mm,
Just so you don't downplay it. I surveyed 350 women, Iron moms,
yeah,
not those did it five
yeah,
years ago. Women who did it within the last 2 years and currently training for another one. That was the
yeah,
one of the criterias. 350 women. 67% of them are working full time.
yeah, yeah.
So
I believe it.
why am I saying this? I'm fortunate like you to work part time and pursue other passions,
Yeah,
like my doctoral degree in the last few years.
yeah,
I have outside my personal business, but it wasn't a full time. But I know that we're actually the outsiders. The
yeah.
majority of the Iron moms are
Yeah.
working full time, so
Yeah, and
they're
it's
managing it.
amazing to me.
It is
Amazing.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like hats off to them because there's days when I don't know how to fit it all in and I have a pretty very flexible work schedule. But juggling it all is a challenge. Like the moms that are working full time and that kind of training, that's amazing. Like and it's just so impressive.
Is there ever a negotiation with yourself where it's an early morning and you need to go to the pool and you say, "No, I
Yeah.
just want to go to sleep"? Do you
All
skip
the
training?
time. No, I'm pretty good with the swimming. Like the swimming is the one thing that's so if I'm being honest, it's not my favorite. So there are definitely been times where I should have been in the pool and I did not, you know. So but yeah, I
So
it's that's
but
what's
it
hard
sounds
for
like
me.
you are keeping your commitments and usually you train, you get it done,
Yeah.
you knock it off first thing in the morning or in
Yeah.
between if
I
need
get it.
be.
I check the boxes. I get it done.
You get it done.
I
You get
get
it
it
done.
done.
I'm struggling with myself. I'm having a lot of discussions with myself these days. In the motivation theory, is talking about intrinsic motivation coming from you inside, or extrinsic motivation coming
Yeah.
from external things. And some might say that training to cross the finish line and get a medal or complete the goal is extrinsic because it depends on the race.
Yeah.
But I'm having this internal debate with myself and also listening to you because I'm thinking it can't be. It's intrinsic. All this negotiation you do with yourself every
Yeah.
morning to wake up and go to the pool.
Yeah.
You don't do that so other people will see you cross the finish line and say, oh, she's
No.
a bad. You do it for
No.
yourself, right? And
You do
so
it
I
for
think
yourself.
everything in life, it's a combination probably.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not either or a type of
Yeah.
motivation.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I'm asking this question with kind of a little bit of dancing around it because I think when we get to menopause and you get to tell me if you think
Yep.
differently, we care less about what other people think.
Oh,
There's
one
some
hundred percent.
one of those benefits of
I
the
don't know, like,
wisdom
it's
of
like a new level unlocks when you turn 50 and
seriously,
you just don't care. And it's
seriously,
very
don't care.
liberating. Like, it's
I
amazing.
agree.
It's very liberating, you
I
know? I
agree.
love it.
And so that's why I'm dancing gently around this question because we don't really care what other people think. But I'm
Yeah.
curious to know what other, well, I know people know by now that Carrie is crazy and she's doing all those crazy
Yeah.
things, but what do people around you think of all of this? You know, it could be moms at school or at the dance, or, and I'm not saying it because we need to listen to what other people think. I want to understand
Yeah.
what's the perception and how you answer.
I mean, do we ever really know what people are thinking about us? I mean, for my friends, they don't think I'm crazy because they all do the same things, right? You
Uh-huh.
surround yourself with like-minded people usually. So, my friend group is equally as crazy and I love that. I mean, I absolutely love that. Um, but I don't
I'll ask
know.
it differently. I know what I'm after. When they tell you, new moms, maybe because you're going to
Yeah.
move into a middle school, for example, will
Yeah.
ask you, why are you doing all this? Because they don't
Yeah.
really don't know. Maybe they're doing other sports, maybe they're
Yeah. Other
fitness
things.
moms, which is great, by the way.
Yeah.
Uh, and they're asking you, why are you doing this
Yeah. I just
difficult three sports? Why?
Why, and again, I think, and I was thinking about this the other day and I touched on it earlier. I think endurance sports or just sports in general really provide you with good life skills. You don't have to be a pro athlete to get the benefit from that. You learn so much resilience. You learn how to sit with discomfort. So much of life is uncomfortable in many ways. It can be physically uncomfortable, mentally uncomfortable. Um, and I think as an endurance athlete, you learn how to sit with that discomfort and it doesn't break you. You can take on so many challenges in life because you know how to sit with discomfort. Um, and I think that's a really strong life skill that sport can teach you. And I just think having a passion in life is so important for everybody. It doesn't matter what it is, like whatever you need to have something. Like everybody needs to have something that they feel passionate about, that they get excited about. And it doesn't matter what it is. It could be like Taylor Swift or, sport. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is as long as you have something that makes you see the good in the world and something that makes you feel excited. And that's for me,
And
it's
so
endurance.
I'm pushing a little bit more. I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying, but where I feel myself leaning in and wanting to know
Yeah.
more, so that's why I'm going with it is why one Ironman or five is not enough? Why training for one more to challenge yourself physically and mentally instead of saying I'll run 3 marathons?
You know, I it's fun. Like, I just think,
There you go.
it's fun. Like, I think it's fun. Like, the
Okay.
training, it's not all fun, right? Like, there's moments where you're questioning, why you did this, but
Yes.
in the big picture, it's fun. Like,
Yeah.
community is fun. It's
Yes.
contagious, or, it is feeling like you're a part of something that's pretty big. And that's a cool feeling, right? That you're feeling like you're part of something that's a little bit bigger than yourself. When you're at the
Yes.
start line, you kind of feel like you're a part of something that's a little bit bigger than yourself. And that's cool. Like you're surrounded by people from every age group, right? Of people for every walk of life, every job you can think of. People are so different than you, but you all have this one common thing that day, and you're all in it together, right? And
Yeah.
so that's cool. That's a cool feeling of community.
You brought it up earlier in the discussion. I didn't on purpose because I feel like a lot of Iron moms who at least portray, if not perceive themselves as very strong and capable,
Yeah.
don't want to talk about guilt. And you said there's the mom guilt. And I experienced it too.
Yeah.
I don't think those who experience guilt are better moms or it's a sign of a higher moral. It
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
means maybe more tuned. It could be, I don't know,
Yeah.
childhood trauma. It could be
Yeah.
in the literature, there's proneness to guilt. It's just different measurements,
Yeah.
where our kind of internal barometer is rising. I also feel guilty. So, but less.
Yeah.
And by the way, my research did show the more Ironmans you did, the less guilt you felt, which
Oh, so I
makes
just got
sense.
to keep doing more.
Exactly, exactly. But when guilt kicks in, and again, I'm trying to unlock here some advice and some wisdom for other moms who may feel it and that might be stopping them from
Yeah.
saying, I can commit for 15 hours a week.
Yeah.
How do you negotiate the guilt? What do you say to yourself to calm it down?
Gosh, that's a tough one. I don't it just I just have to remind myself that it is okay for me to be someone outside of being a mom, if that makes sense. Like being a mom is one part of me. It's not everything. And
Yes,
that is okay. Like I'm allowed to have like different parts of me that make me whole. And I'm okay with that. Um so and it doesn't it helps that, my husband is supportive, right? Like I have a supportive
yes.
husband. That's very important too. I'm lucky there. Um, you know, he has things he likes to do as well. So we kind of like trade off, right? Like
Yeah.
he has his race cars and stuff like that. So he gets to go to the track some weekends. I get to go do my races some weekends. So we kind of divide and conquer that way. But I'm lucky that he supports all my my crazy adventures.
There's another element because I've heard your story before. We talked that I love hearing, and it's about the role modeling for your
Yeah.
daughter. And maybe you can share a moment or two that stayed with you where you saw that she saw you as a
You know,
mother athlete and what it did. What do you think it did to her?
I think my favorite times have been at Lake Placid
I
where
know. I knew you were going to say
yeah,
that.
I guess it was so fun. I was on the run and she was kind of running along beside me and we got to a spot. I was like, "All right, Ellie, you gotta go stay with daddy now." She goes, "Mommy, are you gonna finish?" And another woman in the crowd goes, "Hell yeah, she's gonna finish!" And I love that. Like it stuck with me. It's just I loved it. And having her at the finish line, it's such a great feeling as a mom to see your children at the finish line. We kind of started a little tradition when I would race Lake Placid. My husband would take her to the little bead shop in town, and she would make me a bracelet and would give it to me at the finish. And for 3 years in a row, at the finish line, she gives me my little charm bracelet that she made. And I'll
The
tell you
best
what,
medal. The best
I
medal.
could not tell you where my Lake Placid medals are. I have no idea, honestly, I don't know, but I know where those bracelets are. Those bracelets mean so much to me just to have
What are
her.
they saying if you don't mind
Well,
sharing?
they're just little charm bracelets. They have like one has like a little bicycle on it, one has like a little sneaker on it.
Oh,
So
okay. I
I
didn't know
love
if it
that.
was one of those that has like
Yeah.
little words or
Yeah.
something, that
Oh, I
says
still have
something.
the one
Okay.
you gave me because you gave me one at Maryland and I still have that. I put that on
Right.
whenever.
That's right. I was
Yeah.
volunteering and I
Yeah.
had, yes, that's right. I
Yes,
forgot.
I remember that when I have a race where I was doing it, that one goes on my wrist every time
At
still.
the bike tent.
So,
Oh my God. This is
yep.
such a good reminder for me on giving back how good it feels. It was
Yeah.
so hot and so hard and so
Hot.
many athletes, but it was the best.
Yeah.
Um, we covered a lot of ground on the. I'm telling you, you need to change your handler to the kind athlete, the
I
kind
might,
athlete.
maybe.
About your kindness,
Oh,
about being kind, about being resilient, about finding joy every
yeah.
single time in the process, and being a dedicated mom. And to close the session, before we go into the rapid fire, I want to ask you this: if you had one or two important advice to give to mothers who want to either enter endurance sport or maybe take it to the next level from a
Yeah.
sprint to the full or the half. And again, there's no judgmental here. It's not that one is better
Yeah.
than the other. Some are
No.
holding back, I know, because they say, I just don't have the time to
It's
do
a time.
double.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for other moms on how to
I
be a
think
mother
you have
athlete in endurance?
I think you have to let go of being perfect, right? Like
Uh,
there's going to be days, where you're not going to check your training piece isn't going to be green every week. It's just not. Like you may not hit every workout as it was prescribed. And again, I'm not speaking as someone who's trying to qualify for Kona. Like I get that. Like that's a different expectation. I'm somebody who is racing for the joy of it, having fun and trying to finish happy. Um, so I had to let go of being perfect. Like let go of being perfect. it's gonna it's gonna be okay, and if you put the time in, you'll get there, right? Even if on paper it doesn't work out the way you wanted it to.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I want to talk before we go to the rapid fire, we talked a little bit about being in perimenopause or menopause.
Yeah.
Has that phase changed anything in how you train or
Um,
you do as a mother athlete?
when you I don't know, when you turn 50, all of a sudden, your whole, like you can't go on social media without someone telling you something about perimenopause or menopause. Um, it I've definitely it I've definitely upped my strength training in the
Yeah,
past year. I've done that. I've definitely upped my strength training. Um, but other than that, I still approach everything the same as I was. So no major changes.
same
So
with you. And I'm trying to amp my protein. I don't listen to all the others. I can't do it.
yeah,
I
there's a
tried
lot
all
of
the
noise out there.
there's a lot of noise, and I
There's a
tried all
lot.
the supplements, and then I got off
Yeah,
them, and I didn't feel
yeah,
any change. So I was
yeah,
like, okay,
yeah.
this is not helpful. But strength
Not
training, game
strength training is where it's
changer.
at. Yeah, that's
Game
it.
changer,
Strength.
and it made me a
Yeah,
better athlete, actually. I'm running
100%.
effortlessly right now
Yeah,
before I was suffering.
yeah. Like strength train. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah. If
training.
there's
All,
anything you
all
get
women.
out of these ladies
Right.
in menopause or
Right.
Perry, strength training.
Even you endurance athletes, strength train. It's so important. I promise you.
Yes,
It's a game
yes,
changer.
completely agree.
So
All right, so ready for the rapid fire?
I'm ready.
Don't overthink it.
I won't.
The first thing that comes to your mind, one word, one sentence,
Okay.
and or you can say skip.
Okay.
I think I know this answer by now, but still, I'm going to ask you this: race
Okay.
day or training day?
Training day.
Oh, I thought you were going to say race day after all the talk about crossing the finish line
I
happiness.
know,
Okay.
you're right. But like that's true. But training is where you really make the connections.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm
That's where
with
you
you. I
really make the
prefer training.
connections.
Race day stresses me. I like the
Yeah,
training day.
right?
I'm with you. I think I know the answer here as well, but I'm going
Okay.
to ask you anyway. Solo workout or working out with others?
Working out with others. When I can.
Mm.
When I can work out with others. So much of my training has been solo because who else is going to bike with you at 3:30 in the morning? So, but yeah, so when the opportunity presents, I would definitely go with a group.
Yeah, I'm a solo also, only because I always change my plans last minute because something happens with the
Yeah.
family and I'm
Yeah.
afraid that I'm going to disappoint someone and I say, I'm sorry, I can't come to the 4 run or
Yeah.
for the 7 mile or so. Yeah, I keep it to myself, but yeah, I can see how it's more fun.
Yeah.
Music, podcast, or silence during workout.
Music. Definitely music.
Um, what did motherhood teach you that sport couldn't?
That it's not that deep. There's other
What do
things.
you mean?
Racing is great and I love it, but it's not that deep.
Got
When
it.
you compare it to your child and being a mom, if race day doesn't go as planned, it's okay. I still have I'm blessed with a healthy child. So
Yeah.
it's not that deep.
Now the
So
other way around. What did sport teach you that motherhood couldn't?
there's always another race. There's always another chance.
I love it. What is something you stopped apologizing for?
Nothing. I apologize too much for everything still. I need to be better about that, actually. Thank you for the reminder.
Um, what about something you're still figuring it out?
All of it. Literally all of it.
Okay. Best advice you ever got?
Um, mm, it's just a hill. Get over it.
And two more that are a little bit different. I want you to finish the
Okay.
sentence. The first one is I feel most like myself when,
When I'm running.
and last one, I wish more women knew that.
Feeling strong is empowering.
Show us the, oh, you can't hear the long. Carrie, it's been a pleasure.
It's so nice to
You've
see
been
you.
such a good friend, and you gave me your time throughout multiple interviews throughout my school. And once again, when I asked for your time, kind is the, if we had to make word cloud out of this interview,
Yeah.
kind would be one of
Yeah.
them. So
I
thank you
love
for your
that.
kindness. And
Of course. Thank you.
my personal wish is for you to come back to race, obviously, but for me to be able to be on that course and cross the
Yes.
finish line to get the bracelet.
Yes.
Well, I need to make two.
We need to do it. We need to do it. And so,
So
um,
thank you again, and I can't wait to continue and follow you in your adventures. And I will stay in touch to get the links so
of
I can
course.
add them to the show notes.
Of course. I love it.
Okay,
Thank you.
stay with me.
I will.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, of course.